trying to get our guest online here, Mr. Andy Martin. Uh-oh. That's Andy Martin. Well, we don't need that, so we'll just do this and get back to him in a minute, try to get the break. Things are going on, as you well know. This is the week that you're going to make a choice. I am kind of excited. Is this the week the election is, guys? We have an election this week, don't we? Oh, how right I was. Well, according to some of my findings, boy, I think I got that crystal ball and the right to do PFA, pluck from air kind of thing. I've got it figured out. I don't need a lot of that internet stuff. I just pull it right out of the air and go for it. Anyway, we've got an interesting show tonight. If we can get him up online, his name is Andy Martin. If you guys want to call him on this number, I'll be happy to give it to somebody if they come in here and get it. I'm not going to leave the station because the presence is here. Anyway, it's going to be a long week. And one of the things that I started looking at a long time ago was just how are we going to make this work? And I started looking at the candidates a long time ago, long time ago. And I had lunch the other day with a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, and he made one of the most, just a brainstorm of an idea. He said, Bill, what if these two candidates came into your office and were looking for a job? And I thought about that for a minute, and I thought, wow, that's pretty good. What if they did? What would that mean? Would that mean that the information I have on them, would that be enough to convince me to hire one of them? And I applied that same analogy to the two candidates. And I didn't come up with any good answers for me. But maybe you can come up with one tonight, and we'll turn it over to you and take your phone calls and find out just who you'd hire for this job. Because this week, you literally are going to put the contract out. And there's going to be a no-bid contract. You're going to be a part of it. And it's going to be up to you, not me. I'm not going to make it work. You are. And all the people that I know across the country, everybody has got a different opinion. My guest tonight, Andy Martin, went to Hawaii and uncovered Barack Obama's birth certificate. And now it too has been sealed. I don't know why they want it sealed, but they can look up yours, they can look up mine. When the hell can't we look up his? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's sort of a moot point. And when I talked with him today, he was in the middle of about ready to go into a news conference. And I spoke with him afterward, and he's quite excited about coming on, unless he's fallen asleep in Chicago somewhere. Andy Martin, if we can get him online, he'll be here in a few minutes. If not, you and I are going to take a long look at some of the information that we've come up with about McCain. And by the way, I've got some apologizing to do. I've got some strong apologizing to do to George Bush. Yep. I have never cut him any slack from the day one. I've always felt he was probably one of the worst presidents in the history of this country. In the past time that I know about, in my lifetime, he is without a doubt the worst president. But I do have to apologize to him because he did pull something out of the hat. Now, you haven't heard about this in the mainstream news, and you're hearing about it here for the first time. Mr. Bush, I'm going to read this hot off the wire as I got it. Mr. Bush, nope, that's not what I want. Mr. Bush, in his nimble fashion, this is a shocking revelation about him. I did not know this until just a few moments ago. As of November 1, it comes in, to me, it says, please read this and then check the links below and see for yourself. Wonder why our illustrious media hasn't reported this, Bill. And I checked it out myself and followed the links to the end. Shocking revelation. This has been flying under the radar, and if you read MSNBC, you can check it. Truthification.com site, the Torah version of the show below, and the events are factual. I had an interesting interesting and very increased respect for George Bush. He has taken the heat and been called a liar and a warmonger for 5 years while he kept his secrecy. The silence of what this man has kept, I'm going to now reveal to you in what he did. On July the 5th, 2008, the Associated Press story titled Secret, the U.S. mission hauled uranium from Iraq. The opening paragraph is as follows. The last major armament of Saddam Hussein's nuclear program, a huge stockpile of concentrated natural uranium, reached Canada, a port Saturday, to complete a secret U.S. operation that included a 2-week airlift from Baghdad and a ship voyage crossing 2 oceans. We haven't been hearing from the far left. We haven't heard anything about this. For more than 5 years, we've heard how he lied, meaning Bush, and somehow the slogan loses the credibility now that 550 metric tons of Saddam's yellow cake used for nuclear weapons enrichment has been discovered and shipped to Canada for its new use as nuclear energy. It appears that the American troops found 550 metric tons of uranium in 2003 after invading Iraq. They had to sit on the information and the uranium itself for fear the terrorists attempt to steal it. It was guarded and kept safe by our military in a 23,000-acre site with large sandbags surrounding the site. This is the vindication for Bush administration, having been attacked mercilessly by the liberal media and the far-left pundits on the blogosphere. Now that it is proven that Bush did not lie about Saddam's nuclear ambitions, one would think the mainstream media might report the story. Once the AP released the story, the mainstream media should have picked it up and broadcast it worldwide. This never happened due to the large part, I believe, to the fact that the mainstream media would have had to admit they were wrong about the Bush's war. I apologize profusely. I, too, bought into the media. This tells me he's a hell of a man. He kept his mouth shut. At America, we owe him a debt of thanks. Be that as it may. Moving right along after that, and there's more of it, and I'll give you the links if you want to go look this up. Truthification.com, rumors, uranium, yellow cake, 500 tons yellow cake, msnbc.msn.com/ID 255463334. We'll take a pause in the action here. I'll try to get Andy Martin on line here for you. I'll be right back after this word. Don't you go away. Don't you take those seat belts off. You hang on. We'll be right back. Go on. Go on. I'm going to do this. There you go. folks, you're unable to reach Mr. Andy Martin. I'll tell you what he did briefly is this. He challenged Barack Obama's authenticity of his birth certificate. Come to find out, the birth certificate, as I understand it, is in fact, everything you've seen on the net is a complete forgery. However, what he got was the certificate of birth in Hawaii, and apparently saw it, but everybody else read him the riot act for throwing an egg in the face of this. But the media owes that guy a real debt of thanks, and I do too. I appreciate what he's done, but it still doesn't help Mr. Obama in the sense that he lied. So, back to you. You and I are going on the phones now. Would you hire the guy? Which one of these guys would you hire and why? I want to know why. It's important because we got to hire one of these dudes. You know, one of them's going to get the job, and I'd like to know what you're thinking. I'm going to keep a score of it here, and we'll let you know at the end of the show who got the most tallies or whatever. Let's go first to John. John, I guess. John, you're on the air.
Yeah, Bill. I just wanted to congratulate you on your program here. And have you learned how to speak Russian yet, my friend?
Not yet, but I am working on it.
Good job, because if Obama gets elected, we're going to be speaking Russian and communism here for long. And by the way, I'm from McCain.
Thank you. I read something today that I think we're going to see a lot of in this country. In the past couple of years, there's been over 120-some thousand Russians disappear.
Yep.
They go out for a loaf of bread or go to work, and that's it. They never come back.
Yep.
And I said, are we going to see that here? Are hard times coming to the point that we're going to see that? In the coming weeks, I'm going to do a lot of shows about the economy and where it's all going. We may get into that tonight. As a matter of fact, we will get into it tonight. Mm-hmm. But you're going to vote for, I'm going
to vote for McCain.
You're going to hire McCain. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Brother, I appreciate the call. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bill.
Got you. And let's go to Jody. Jody, you're on the air.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I just have two comments. That little thing you talked about Bush in the beginning.
Yes.
Well, my whole curiosity factor on this is like, as much as the Fox News Network loves the Republican Party, and I know you're talking about MSNBC, but don't you think that if that story did have a lot of truth to it, that they would have been screaming about that for the last 5 years?
Well, I don't think so, because it was kept under wraps and nobody knew about it until it was the secrecy. It was just let out.
Well, I sometimes question a lot of the stuff you see on the internet. But the other thing is, I know a lot of people don't like Barack Obama, and all I would say though is I think, if nothing else, I know he doesn't have as many years under his belt as McCain, but he's had a well-run and a well-oiled machine where he has been able to raise more money than anybody's ever raised, and he hasn't had as many scandals of sorts over the last 22 months as a lot of other presidential candidates have over the decades.
Well, we're not to the election yet, and a lot of things can happen, but I'm with you, and I totally understand. So you're telling me that if you had a company and these two guys walked in, you'd hire Obama based on what you know as an employer?
I would think because of his organizational skills, if nothing else, just on that level alone, I would give him a thumbs up.
Okay, so that's enough to run your business.
Yeah, because I think he surrounds himself with the people with the correct knowledge.
Are you aware of, and that brings me to another point, are you aware of who some of these people are?
Well, I mean, I go back to, like Warren Buffett, and he's being supported by Colin Powell.
Are you familiar with something called the Trilaterals Commission?
I'm not real hip on it right now.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, take a look at, go on and Google Trilateral and look at all the people and the stuff that they've done. They are basically the ones that are overseeing Mr. Obama. But, hey, you're going to hire him, so I'm going to put you over there with Obama. But I appreciate the call there, Jody. Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks.
Let's go to Wally. Wally, you're there.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, sir.
I have a question for you. That's something's going on here in Cincinnati. I have a cousin that's a guard down at the Justice Center.
Uh-huh.
and he says that 37% of the people that are in there are Latinos, and out of the 37, he says about 20% of them have American names, and that they're putting them down as white to cover up because the federal government's behind it. It doesn't want them to be actually deported, but they're in there, and your tax dollars is going for all these illegals.
So they've got Americanized kind of names.
Some of them have American names, and some of them just have Latino names that just right out blatantly Latino names, but they have them down listed as white, Caucasians. So I didn't believe my cousin, so I got on the website and looked at all the Latino names with the race white.
Oh,
instead of L for Latino.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So we've got a scam going on in the Justice Center.
Yeah. So your money's paying for a bunch of illegals there.
Uh-huh.
And then they let them out.
Oh, yeah. And they go out and do it again.
And I checked a couple of them out that he told me about. They was in there for felony for carrying guns and concealed weapons and stuff.
Nice group. Nice group of people.
Yeah, ain't that something?
Like to have in my neighborhood, wouldn't you?
Oh, I'm sure they probably are.
Well, I appreciate the call. Thanks for the update. And if you hear any more, let us know, will you?
Well, thank you.
You got it. Let's go to Robert. By the way, the number 381-3838, that's a local, but if you put 513 in front of it, you'll get in. There it is up on the screen. Let's go to Robert. You're on the air, sir.
Hey, Bill, what's going on?
I don't know. I'm trying to hire somebody to go into this job as president, and I was looking at it, and since the situation came up, if
I was hiring somebody, probably the first thing I would look at. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
The first thing I would look at is how smart they are, and evidently Barack Obama is much smarter than this other guy. What's his face? And also, I look at who he has on his team. He has Warren Buffett, Colin Powell is backing him.
Uh-huh.
A lot of smart Republicans are backing him, so he couldn't be that bad.
Okay, I'm with you.
And then I would look at his vice president pick, Joe Biden. This man has been around for what, 25, 30 years.
Got plenty of plugs.
In the Senate.
Got plenty of plugs.
Yeah.
He's doing well.
And then I look at McCain. Look at who he picked. Look at who he picked for vice president right now.
I think this
guy is evidently erratic and is trying to please the right-wing conservative base.
Uh-huh.
And when she was first picked, her popularity shot up, right?
Right.
And then as soon as she opened up her mouth, people saw who she really was, and they were totally turned off by her.
All right, Robert, I appreciate it. I'm going to put you over here. You're hiring Obama.
One more thing.
You're hiring Obama, is that right?
Okay, right. One more thing.
Okay.
Now, you say Barack Obama is born in another country, right?
Apparently, that's what's coming out in the news.
Okay, but his mother is a United States citizen. And if my understanding is correct, whether you were born on the moon or wherever, on Mars, if your parents are citizens, then you're automatically citizen, right?
Okay, I hear
correct?
you. I know what. Now, I don't know.
I think that is correct.
I think, well, you very well may be, Robert.
I've been overseas and everything. And, I'm a military guy, and I've seen plenty of military people, they had children overseas, and their children automatically become citizens.
I appreciate the call, Robert. I got to run them up against the break they're putting.
If that was the case.
Let's take that break. I just got told in my ear by God to change and to put that. Go right ahead. Take the break. I'll be right here when you get back. Robert, thank you for your call. I do appreciate it. Thank you, sir. And we'll be right back. How's that? That work? Thank you. We're back in the Scizone. I want to thank all the people watching tonight via the internet, all the people all across the country. Thank you for joining us on the internet. It's a real pleasure to have you. I know there's some people out in Arizona standing up to the bar tonight. Anyway, let's go back to the telephones, your telephone calls, and who you're hiring. Let's go to Matt. I'm sorry, you're there, Matt. Go ahead. Hello, Matt. Yes, sir. Is that what his name? I'm sorry.
It's fine. How are you, Bob?
I'm doing well. Okay.
All right. Well, first thing I would look for in a candidate is I would check their background.
Yeah.
And I've been looking online about information and stuff, and I found out that John McCain is actually half man, half werewolf.
Oh, really? It's amazing. It's amazing what, obviously, you know what? I feel sorry for people that don't graduate high school. It's really rough on them. Mate, is it M-A-T-E? Mate, that's what that is. Jeff, you're on the air, sir. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I want to talk about the president,
Yeah.
the election.
Okay.
And Obama, it just seems like everybody's being hypnotized about this guy. It's really weird because I live here in Cincinnati, and it's like 98% of all the black people I've talked to are voting for this guy just because he's black. And I ran into a bunch of white friends, and they're like mesmerized over this guy, and I don't get it.
Obviously, you are probably a little up on it. So who are you gonna hire there, Jeff?
Probably McCain.
Okay, sir. I appreciate your phone call. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And he's gonna hire McCain. So there's a couple there. All right, and which is fine. I don't care who you hire, but you got to hire somebody tonight. Let's go to Don. You're there, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening, Bill. How are everybody?
Doing better than usual and better than most in the situation.
Let's hope it's not a full moon.
Well, I think it is somewhere.
Let's go to the closet and take out the dread meter.
Okay.
Obama, I dread too. In all actuality, McCain, I dread too. But we're a capitalist country, and it forces an issue on me. So I look at the dread meter and say, Obama only makes about 46% on a good day.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to say McCain, well, 51.
Okay.
Not by much, but I have to go McCain. I hate to say it.
All right, I agree with you. I'll put you over here under McCain.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
And trying to find out who's going to get the job this week. And you're there, dear.
Hi, no question about it. Obviously, the McCain talent ticket is the one to go for. They definitely have the experience, governmental experience, and the background, and Obama is so questionable. His associations, his inexperience as far as government experience is
I believe he's got 143 days in the Senate.
And I have a question for you.
Okay.
With the voter fraud in Ohio, where I think it's Hamilton County, there have been so many people registered, people that are not alive, and a lot of people that they can't find the background on them. I know this woman responsible for it was told that she had to investigate the names and went to the Supreme Court level, and it was thrown out. And my concern is, isn't there a federal judge, there have been federal judges in other states that have stood up and overthrown Supreme Court decisions for wrong reasons, but yet have overturned the decisions in their, in order to accomplish their ends? Why don't we have a federal judge in Ohio that could overturn that decision and get this voter fraud out of the way and make people show up with appropriate identification?
And take a breath. Take a breath.
Okay.
And
sorry.
You cannot overturn a Supreme Court decision at our level. Now, it may be up the chain, the food chain, but a federal judge locally cannot overturn any decision by the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry?
A state? I thought they could do that. I thought they had done that in California with them.
No, they can overturn an act, I believe, but it has to be voted on by the public, and you have to put it on the ballot and get so many people to sign it, and so on and so forth. That's the problem with it. But so you're going to hire McCain, all right?
I'm going to hire McCain, no doubt about it.
All right, darling. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. You're a blessing.
Well, thank you.
Have a good day.
Let's go to Thomas. I believe, Thomas, you're on the air.
Thank you, Bill Bush.
Now, be careful. Don't get too excited.
I just have a question to ask.
Go ahead.
This has to do more about the court system and the presidency. My little town is rife with shall we say, illegal activities. I'm wondering why the authorities, this man I know, a few years back, was convicted of a felony.
Now, wait a minute. I don't have time for a long-winded story.
Short story. Convicted of a felony. His probation officer that he slept with altered his record. So he's no longer considered a legal felon.
So he can vote?
Oh, he can vote on guns, and he's shipping drugs in the community, and the authorities have not caught this.
Have you turned that over to the authorities? I would suggest you do that.
Do you think they're going to listen to me? This sounds rife with corruption.
You might want to just take it to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and if he's handling firearms, just take it to the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Department. They'll be happy to take a look at it. Anyway, I appreciate your. Who are you going to hire, by the way?
I just know for a fact that
wait.
the Lord told me Barack Obama would be the next president.
Oh, okay, all right. That's who you're going to hire, right?
I didn't say I'm voting for either one of them. That's just the way it's going to be, sir.
Oh, well, all right, thank you. We'll take a break on that one. I need to get myself composed because of the excitement. Right here in the Scizone, don't go away. 513-381-3838. Come on back. We got more to do, and you're a part of it. Back in the Scizone, Bill Boshears with you till 12 o'clock. Your phone calls taken tonight. We're electing a president, or actually hiring him for a job. And some of the callers are reluctant. The last guy was, well, I don't know. God talks to him a lot, so I don't know. Smokey, you're on the air, sir. Hello, Smokey, once. Smokey once, twice. Smokey, you're gone. Your phone sucks anyway, so get a new one or get on a landline. And by the way, when I come to you, turn your television down so we don't get that echo, that loop playing, all right? There's a line open. Jump in there. There they go. Let's go to RJ. You're there, sir. Go ahead.
I'm calling up in a minute.
Hello, RJ. Are you there? Well, fumble around and lose space. That's what it is. There's another line open there. Let's go to James. James, I hope you're there. James, are you there, sir?
Yeah, I'm here, Bill.
Go right ahead, sir.
Hey, you're talking about Trilateral Commission. It was formed after the Bretton Woods actually collapsed, if I'm not mistaken. And the Trilateralists was to fill in a vacuum that was not there after Bretton Woods collapsed.
Yep.
And their whole idea was to pretty much control the world's economy.
They're still doing it. And
they're still doing it.
And they've pulled they're already getting in line to pull Obama's strings. So,
well, the trilateral actually refers to the three spheres of power, economic power, being just one of them.
Okay, what I'm trying to get you to understand is that the people who are trilateralists are already in place in his so-called cabinet.
Well, of course, Jimmy Carter was one of the first.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I guess he was. He was influenced quite a bit, and he did an amazing job.
Right. Well, there was a loss of power after Nixon went out.
James, James, let me ask you a question. Who would you hire tonight? Would you hire McCain or Obama?
I think I'm going to go with Ralph Nader.
You're going to what?
Ralph Nader.
Ralph Nader, all right.
I don't want either of the other two.
Well, what somebody said, when you vote for the lesser of two evils, you still get evil. I appreciate the call, brother. Thank you, James. Let's go to, been there the longest by a few seconds. Will, it's you. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I'm voting Chuck Baldwin and Darrell Castle of the Constitution Party. They also have a individual running for the state attorney general, Mr. Robert Owens. That party is the closest that you can get to the original Constitution. Also, I think people should know that there are other parties besides the Republicans and Democrats.
Absolutely,
running.
absolutely. But we don't hear much about them in the mainstream media. They don't have the money to buy and cheat and steal, so they have to tell the truth. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
most politicians, you have to understand the word politics. Politics means many, and ticks are like blood-sucking animals.
Well, people should do a little more research before they go to the polls and vote.
Well, it's scary. It's absolutely scary what they do.
Well, that's all I had to say.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. And he's voting for somebody else. Let's go to Robin. You're on the air.
Good evening, Bill.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Well as can be expected.
Well, I love that comment. Ticks are blood-sucking animals.
Well, if you break it down, poly means many, and ticks are bloodsuckers.
Hey, that's right. You've got it. Listen, I wanted to tell
I
you
like that
something.
other one I got last week.
What's that?
Pornification.
Yes.
I got pornified by the government.
No doubt. We all have.
We all have.
Yes,
and
we all have.
I think we're about ready to get more. By the way, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
You're one of, I'm glad you called, Robin.
Oh, thank you.
Do you happen to know how many zeros are in a quadrillion?
I would not have any idea.
Tonight, you will find out.
Okay, good.
There are 15 zeros behind it, and Mr. McCain is going to take over the competency of the SS Titanic, just as we're steering toward a 1 trillion, quadrillion derivative-based economy.
It's beyond comprehension, Bill.
It is beyond anything humanly understandable.
That's true. That's true.
So who are you going to hire for your job?
Well, I have a comment about that.
Go right
because
ahead.
as a manager for a number of years, I did quite a bit of hiring. I would even hire for or interview for other departments. And one rule that I always made for myself was, even though I was hiring for another department and trying to fill chairs there, I always made myself make the decision of, would I hire this person for me or not? In other words, I'm not going to throw garbage at other departments. The type of interviewing that I like to conduct is the type of interviewing where you say, tell me about a situation where you ... dealt with different situations.
We were trying to have that in those town hall meetings, but we never got around it.
Well, I'll tell you, Obama couldn't pass it because he would not be able to tell me of situations that he dealt with and how he handled them. And so he would not pass my interview. Now, McCain would pass, I think, would be more likely to pass it because he has a lot more to draw from, more experience to draw from than Obama does.
Even if it's crooked. And being half a werewolf, as I was informed earlier. You
Must be because it was Halloween last night, I'll tell you.
People in Cincinnati take Halloween way too serious.
Yes, they do.
Anyway, my dear, it's been a pleasure. Robin, thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Good night.
Good night. Let's go to Dave, who's standing by breathlessly. Dave, how are you tonight? Glad to have you aboard.
All right, Bill, how you doing this evening?
Glad to have you aboard, sir.
I have a question to propose to your viewing audience.
Oh, all right.
If it is immoral to oppose, let's say, Barack because of the color of his skin, is it okay to vote for him simply because of his color of his skin?
Ah! Good question, Dave. You get the star of the night. By the way, Dave, if you'll join me this week, I'll have a pass for you.
All right.
If you'll go to the Showcase Cinema, Springdale Cinema, if you find me, I'll be standing somewhere in the lobby looking unconspicuous as hell. But if you show up, it's before 7:30, I'll have a ticket for you.
Will do.
It's good for two people, so bring your wife or somebody else's wife. I don't care what you do. And Dave, who are you hiring?
I would actually have a write-in for a Huckabee.
Huckabee. Now there's my man. I like him. Anyway, I appreciate the call, Dave. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Huckabee. Take a pause the action right here. We'll be right back. And that was a good thing. You know that's a good statement. It's equally flip-flopping there. If you vote against him because it's going to, is it equally as important to vote, are you doing the right thing? I was just reading here, every 4 years we have one of these elections. They keep promising smaller and smaller federal government. The only thing is that it grows. In case you haven't noticed, the total budget, U.S. public debt has exploded under $6 trillion at the beginning of the year 2000. And right now it's approximately $14.5 trillion. Now, that's the latest tally from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac liabilities and all that nonsense. But from a historical perspective, for comparison's sake, it took the U.S. from 1776 to the year 2000 to reach a total public debt of just under $6 trillion. And it's taken the current president of the United States has doubled that more than it took in the past 240 years to accomplish. And if that's not current, President did, in less than 8 years. Man, I'll tell you what, this country's in a meltdown, and all of these people running around going, I'll do it, I'll change it, just pray for change, and there'll be a light come down out of the sky, and we'll change it, and then give me this stuff. Bunch of jive turkeys. Let's go to Smokey. Smokey, you're on the air. Hi.
Listen, what you just said is very important because in the last 8 years, we've had a serious problem. Now, Dave brought up a good thing about the color of a man's skin.
Damn, that was a good question.
That is not about what this election is about, Bill.
Not for me, it's not.
No, it's not. What this election is about is truly change. We know what the last 8 years was about, and it wasn't good.
Worst part of my life.
I mean, I'm telling you.
But I'm going to tell you something. It started with the old man Bush and has progressively gotten worse.
I'm with you 100% there.
And you can't lay this on any one doorstep because they've been working at this, Smokey,
for a long time.
For 60 years.
For a long time.
Who would you hire for your job we're doing here?
Obama. And let me just say this to you, Bill.
Okay.
One of the most powerful men in this country, a Republican, is endorsing Barack Obama. It says a lot to me.
Who is that man?
Colin Powell.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, what you just said, what Dave said, all of that make all the sense in the world to me.
Yep.
But it's been 60 years.
It hasn't stopped.
Bush has done it in 8 and tripled and hey.
I'm afraid that we're going to get into, with McCain, another 100 years in Afghanistan. I don't want any more wars. I didn't want this one.
None of us did.
Nobody wanted this. Now that we found out he got 500 pounds of yellow cake out of there, okay, that's a good deal.
Wow.
I'm glad that. Now, having said that, it's time to come home. I'm not going to spend $10 trillion a month or $1 billion a month for these people, and they don't want us there.
Get out of their country.
Get out, let them alone, let them revalue or do whatever they're going to do with their money.
We need to work what we need to work in our country for our people.
Smokey, thank you. I appreciate your
very much.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. I appreciate that. Joyce, you're on the air. Whoops, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let's go to Joyce. You're there.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I just have one comment to make. I just keep hearing over and over, Obama doesn't have the experience. Did Bush have the experience? Because I look at the country and he's left the country in a mess.
Honey, he didn't have any experience. He couldn't find his hat. You got to understand, that was a give up deal. What my point is with Obama, and this is all it is, he's only got 143 days in the Senate. There's not a whole hell of a lot he could have learned. And because he's got Brzezinski backing him up, that scares the hell out of me. And the trilaterals that are pulling his string, man, I don't want to get into that. You talk about a bunch of spending, it's going to happen, and you're the one that's going to pay for it.
Now, if something happens to McCain, if he's elected, he's 72 years old.
Yeah.
And Palin has to step into that position. She has experience.
Well, my point being simply this. She may come out of it, and if she doesn't, we'll take her out, or she could be, maybe we could take her out. But I think she's going to be, if she does, that does happen, God forbid. But if it does, I think she'll come out of it with common sense, because I think it's about time we put somebody in the White House. I don't care if it's a rabbit. This woman idea I really like. The men have screwed it up for generations. I don't know why in the hell we can't have a woman president. I'm all for it. I wanted Condoleezza Rice to run, but no, she got her head somewhere else, and I can't get her to run. I don't know why in the hell Obama didn't choose her on his ticket.
I thought that too.
Well, anyway, be that as it may, I'll get off my soapbox. You're hiring Obama. Is that the one
I'm
you're?
hiring Obama.
All right, darling.
Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate it, dear. Thank you. We'll take a pause in the action and come right back with more hiring and firing right here in the Scizone. I'm Bill Boshears, and you are the guests tonight. Join me right now. Back in the Scizone. Thank you for joining me tonight. Next Saturday night, by the way, if you want to go to www.wbqc.com, get on the website, register, and if you for tickets for this coming Thursday to see role models. It's my life story in reverse. I'm lying. That's what that is. Anyway, let's go back to the phones and get these people their opinions tonight. Quickly, let's go to Tim. You're there. Tim, who are you hiring?
Palin, and I'll tell you why. The reason why is I agree with you when you say we do have no business being in Iraq and we should bring our troops home. But it also scares me to death because I got a son in Maryland right now, and when he gets finished with his schooling, he's going to be deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan.
I want him home. Thank you. God bless him. And
if we're going to send him, at least we need to send him over there with somebody that has some kind of military experience.
I appreciate your call, Tim. Thank you, sir. Paul, you're on the air, sir. Go ahead. Hello, Paul. One.
Yeah. Hey. Hi, Bill.
Yes, sir.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity. You do a great job.
Who you hiring tonight?
We're going to go with McCain and Palin. We don't have any confidence in this Obama. We don't feel that he's straightforward. We get a feeling about deception, and he has no power to change anything. Bill, you're doing a fine job.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Good night.
Let's go to whoever that is. Caller, you're on the air. Hello, caller.
Welcome to Block Broadcasting.
Whoops, wrong one. That was Block Broadcasting. The telephone number 381-3838 for next week. I think we're about out of time. Let me go to Ann here. Ann, you're on the air.
Hi, Bill. I'll make it quick.
Okay.
I am going to be 27 years old on Monday, and I'm coming into my own with.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. I'm coming into my own as an adult, and I'm learning that you can't understand. You can't believe everything the media says. What am I supposed to expect? Seeing what's gone on in the past, I've been able to I've been able to vote since 2000, and coming forward from what I've learned, what have I got to look forward to as I grow older? This is just absolutely asinine.
You know what? You've just said what a lot of people would like to say. You've just said it, and you are a fine American, and I'll tell you what. That's the choice we've got.
I will always vote. I was raised that way. I will always vote, regardless of how regardless of how I feel. I will always vote. That's not an option not to vote. But just going forward, it just makes me sad what I've got to look forward to in my years to come.
You know what? It scares the hell out of me too.
I'm glad you agree with me, Bill. I'm glad to hear that.
Take care. Who would you hire?
Who would I hire? Honestly, I don't like either one of them very much, but
Neither
based
do
on
I.
what I've seen, I'm terrified of Obama. I would love to believe what he has to say, but I can't believe it in my heart. So
Okay.
I guess I'm going to have to go with McCain.
All right, dear. I appreciate the call.
You have a wonderful evening, Bill.
You
Thank
also
you.
have a good
Take
one.
care.
Bye-bye. That's it. And by the way, we have 9 McCain, and we've got 5, 6 Obama, 1 for Huckabee, and Charles Baldwin got 1, and another guy got 1. So, folks, this doesn't mean a thing. I wanted to find out from you. I wanted you to tell me, and you did. But that's what this is all about. We need to vote. My suggestion is if they're in there, pardon me, vote them out. I don't give a damn what they're doing. Vote them out. They're not worth having the job. Ask yourself a question. What have they done for you lately? Not much. Not much. They're lying, cheating, and stealing. We may not even have an honest election. There are 9 states right now contesting it. I'll be here next week with you. We'll take a look at the economy the way it really is and talk about some of the jobs and some of the stuff that's going on. I appreciate you being here. You take care. Stay safe. But above all, join me right here next week, right here in the Scizone. I'm Bill Loshears. Have a great night. Oh, by the way, before I forget it, one more time. This week, jump in WBQC and register for the role model tickets. Enjoy yourself. We'll be there Thursday, November the 6th at 7:30. Join me at the Showcase Cinema. Be good.